Hello, everybody. I'm here to speak about Together Against Adversity, and I've been asked to do it through the lens of a witness. I work with refugee, asylum seeker, and undocumented communities, and a lot of that work is around the sea, around the passage that people are making in extremely dangerous, precarious situations and conditions to try and seek refuge and safety and possibility for themselves and their children. And when I was running here today from work, sort of breathless, afraid as usual at my lateness that I'd sort of missed the boat, I eventually got to this stage and I stood next to my beautiful friend Mary, and I felt this sort of swaying from left to right. And I was taken back in a way to a lot of what I have friends who are now on boats are living, and the people who they rescued last night are living, which is that sense, both I think of precarity and uncertainty, but also of this subtle rhythm that is bigger than all of us, and that is of the sea that gives and takes lives, the sea of death, the sea of loss for so many, and a sea of potential life. And when thinking about those who are captaining those ships and crewing those ships, so many of them have their base in the movement for climate justice. Captains like Pia Klemp, Carola Raqueta, all of those actually started off on Greenpeace and other ships, trying to bear witness to one of the most viscerally violent issues of our time, that of climate violence, that of climate injustice. But through that witness, they drew those intersectional connections with that search for life, that search for potentiality, for hope, for dreams and lives of more possibility and change, that so many of the profoundly brave women, men, and children who get on those ships are taking. So if I could encourage anything, it is really to make this movement intersectional, to understand that the links of justice that unite us are so deep and so profound and so important. And when I was thinking about the concept of adversity and how we in our togetherness can try and gain sustenance and nurture for what are very long, oftentimes very brutal struggles in which there's a lot of loss and a lot of pain involved, but also a lot of beauty and a lot of resistance and a lot of resilience and a lot of creativity. It would be this. So as well as that ship going back and forth, while I was on the stage, I was also thinking of roots. In times in which there's such a swirl of injustice around us, what roots us? And in a way, if our aspirational branches of our trees are towards futures in which there is justice, in which the voices of these amazing young women are guiding us, as they should be, with their clarity and their hope and their truth, that within our roots that are going deeper, if that's our hope, what are our roots grounded in? And having caught glimpses of some of your organizing regionally and community on your pieces of land that you're farming with dedication, with beauty, that's where our roots are. It's in community, it's in nurture, it's in empathy, and really it's in humility. And I think that is the challenge of our times and the challenge of any emergent, nascent movement. That in the swirl of media and spokespeople speaking on behalf of sometimes, and I say this as somebody who has been part of so many movements in which I think that creep of ego or the one person, the two people, the three people speaking on behalf of movements. The strength of this movement is that every single one of you in this crowd, if asked to come and speak on this microphone, even if your heart might be beating and your stomach might be clenching with nervousness, you have those words and that truth within you to really speak that truth to power. So it's to feel that power, to feel where our roots are, to really gain sustenance from that soil, and then to make sure that those branches that are going out with clarity and with the strength of that trunk. And the trunk is most definitely what a movement is. So good luck, and yeah, you're speaking with, not on behalf, but with so many movements throughout the world, particularly in the global south, who are bearing witness to times in which they're facing enormous risk, but they're doing such deep bravery. So yeah.